Hi everyone, I'm at my house today. I bet you're at your house today too. We're all doing a bit of that, staying inside, staying safe. So I thought that I'd tell a story, but I thought that I'd do it outside because it's beautiful outside and you can hear the birds. Yeah. And sometimes you can even hear some cows in my yard because we've got some cows down the back. So the first thing I think that we'll do is, oh, there's a butterfly. We say hi to everyone. Hi, hello, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hi, hello, and how are you? How are you today? I'm good and I'm happy because I'm outside and I can hear all the beautiful things around me today. Before we start, I might thank the Gubby people for taking such good care of our land. That seems appropriate because we're outside. So, this is the land and this is the sky. Here are my friends and here am I. Hands up, hands down. We learn and play on Gubby ground. And today, I'm telling a story. I don't have a book, I'm just going to use my body. And you've got a body, so maybe you can help me. I've tried this before and I had trouble with the filming because I'm learning something new. And I can't do it yet, so I keep trying. A bit like you, I guess. You keep trying when you can't do things too. Macy messaged me through the week, but she sent me a photo because she had learned how to swing by herself on a swing. And there was a photo of her on the swing and she had the biggest smile on her face. Speaking of friends, at the end of our live the other day, Chloe popped in to say hi. Hi Chloe, I remember you from pre-kindy and all the fun that we had together, and you will know this story. So we need our hands. Got some hands. You need to shut your hands like this, stick your thumbs up, and this is going to be Mr. Wiggle, and this is going to be Mr. Waggle. And they open the doors, pop, and they go inside, pop, and they shut the doors, pop. Are you ready? Once upon a time, there were two friends called Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle. Mr. Wiggle lived in a house over here, and Mr. Waggle lived in a house over here. One morning, Mr. Wiggle woke up and decided to visit Mr. Waggle. So he opened the door, pop. He went outside, pop. He shut the door, pop. And he went, big arms, up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, all the way over to Mr. Waggle's house. And he knocked on the door. Nothing happened. So he knocked again. And he called out, Mr. Waggle! Mr. Waggle didn't hear him. Mr. Wiggle said, oh, that's a bit sad, but I can try again another day. And he went up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, back to his house, opened the door, pop, went inside, pop, shut the door, pop. The next day, Mr. Waggle woke up and he decided to visit Mr. Wiggle. And he opened the door, pop, and he went outside, pop, and he shut the door, pop. And he went, do you remember the way? Hi, Billy. Up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, all the way over to Mr. Wiggle's house. And he knocked on the door. Nothing happened. And he called out, Mr. Wiggle! Mr. Wiggle! Mr. Wiggle didn't hear him. Mr. Waggle said, oh, it's a bit sad. I have to go back home. And he remembered the way. He went up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, and up the hill and down the hill, all the way back to his house. And he opened the door, pop, and he went inside, pop, and he shut the door, pop. The next day, Mr. Wiggle and Mr. Waggle both woke up. They were so sad they hadn't been able to see one another, so they decided that they'd go out and they'd go and visit one another. But their mums told them something. Their mums said there was sickness out there and they couldn't go out. They couldn't even go to pre-kindy or playgroup. They'd have to stay home and stay safe. What would they do? They wanted to see one another. They had some ideas. They got on video chat. They got on their telephones. They even watched playgroup and pre-kindy on Facebook Live, and they saw all of their favourite friends, and they kept in touch and they kept having fun from inside their houses. They had it together, but they didn't see one another. And pretty soon, because they stayed safe, did all those things, washed their hands, even though they just washed them before, they washed them again, and the sickness went away. And they were so excited because their mums said that they could go and visit one another, and they opened the doors at the same time, pop, and they went out at the same time, pop, and they shut the doors at the same time, pop, and they went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill. Oh, and they bumped into one another, and Mr. Wiggle said hi, Mr. Waggle, and Mr. Waggle said hi, Mr. Wiggle, and they danced and they sang all their favourite songs, like Old MacDonald Had a Farm, even Jingle Bells, even though it wasn't Christmas time, but they just had lots of fun. They had so much fun, they didn't notice that it was getting dark, and pretty soon Mr. Waggle said to Mr. Wiggle, Mr. Wiggle, it's starting to get dark. Mr. Wiggle said, oh, Mr. Waggle, it is. It's time to go home and have some dinner. Thanks for playing. We had such a lovely day. Bye, Mr. Waggle. Bye, Mr. Wiggle. And they went back home to their houses. Do you remember the way? They went up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill and up the hill and down the hill, all the way back to their houses. They opened the doors. Pop. They went inside. Pop. They shut the doors. Pop. They were so happy that they had had such a lovely day. Thanks for coming and having a story with us today. It was great to be outside. Nice to see you at your houses. Hope you're doing well. We might sing goodbye, and then we got a quick message for your mums and your dads and all the grown-ups at your house. You ready? Pop your hands up. This is the way we say goodbye, say goodbye, say goodbye. This is the way we say goodbye at the end of story time. Billy and Benson had to come and have a look. They're just not used to me sitting in the yard, talking to a camera and telling some stories. So mums and dads, I just wanted to say, when you tell stories with your children and when you read books and do things with your children, because they love you so much and because you love them so much, their little brains light up and they learn faster and better. So keep doing all of those things. The other thing is when we tell stories over and over, or read stories over and over, or just do our favourite things over and over, that repetition helps children feel safe, and we all kind of need that at the moment. The other thing that it does when you do the same things with stories is that the children get to know the story and they feel masterful. So when they feel masterful, they're confident in their learning, they know what's coming, and they start to believe in themselves as learners. So all of those things you can do at home. We don't have to be at pre-kindy or at playgroup or anywhere else. You are actually the key to your children feeling safe and also firing up those little brains. So we've got an awesome opportunity just now. I hope that you stay well. It's been really nice chatting with you, and we'll do it again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.